Hi, welcome back. Excuse my morning voice. So, you read the caption right, the thumbnail is not lying to you. So, I'm just going to use 2 cups of soya beans for this sauce we're about to make. Exactly 2 cups, guys. I need to give you a decent amount. So, I'm just going to wash my soya beans with water. I washed this about 2 times or so, then transferred it to another container, added more water, and soaked it. So guys, as you can see the water, there's a bit of fermentation. I decanted. My initial plan was just to soak it overnight, but NEPA did their thing and somehow I ended up soaking it for over 24 hours. So I was supposed to work on it the next day, and all through the next day there was no light and the gen could not carry the blender. So what I did was soaking it overnight. So I soaked it for almost 2 days actually. So as you can see, it's very soft and I could use my fingers to crush it. So well, the light came and I'm just going to blend it, transfer it to a blender. My mistake was putting so much water and blending everything in one batch, because in the next few clips you will notice that it was leaking out a bit. So you can just blend yours in 2 batches. There's no harm in doing that, but my blender is quite big actually, so I did that in 1 batch, even though there was just a little bit of leaking like what you can see here, and that was fine. So my soya soaked very well, and so the paste was very thick and very smooth. And if you don't have a blender, you can always take it to the local grinding machine, but since it's just 2 cups, like there was no point doing that. That's why I waited for the light. So I just turned it into a bowl and added more water to it because I really wanted it to dilute. I didn't want to sieve it like that. So before we move on to sieve it, this is what I'm going to use as my coagulant, guys. This is what I'm going to use. I don't know, this is like hibiscus leaf, like zobo leaf, but this is very sour. Excuse the noise, please. This is extremely sour. And so I'm just going to boil that because I will need to cook it in order to get the sour water out of it. So I'm just going to wash this, then add more water to it and let it boil while I move on to the other processes. Now here we're going to be using a very big pot. Guys, don't use a small pot because this thing will boil over. Even though it's just 2 cups of beans, I added more water, enough water to it. And it's time for me to use a cheesecloth to sieve it. So I just added water too, so that it wouldn't be too thick and I will not let my product go into the chaff. That was the main reason for adding water. So I'm just going to sieve it over my cheesecloth, like just keep pouring it in batches and then squeeze that out. Guys, as you can see, or you would see shortly, this was just half of the pot, but yes, I needed a big pot for this, and this is the chaff or the leftover I have. Guys, does anybody know any function for this chaff? Because I'm just going to give the pigs, like, can we use it for any other thing? I just never know its function or its use. And this thing is now ready. The leaves look very tender and it's time to bring it down and put my soya milk on fire. So initially I'd covered it but had to open it halfway just so it doesn't spill over, because this thing boiled over. It was about to boil over and I just put little of that sour water. So this is the water I got from those leaves, and you can always use ogi water, vinegar, lemon, just anything that is very sour. It will coagulate. So that's why I'm putting it in little batches as it boils over, so that it will be able to coagulate and I would have clean water under. So this is my what do I call it, pudding or curd. This is it. If I'm just using a spoon to separate it, as you can see, it's clean water. So getting back in with that cheesecloth, I'm going to sieve the soya curd into the cheesecloth. So this is very hot. Please be careful not to burn yourself. Do it in a way that you would not burn yourself, please. Yeah, so this is my cord. I'm taking it back, like I would have to actually squeeze out the water. So guys, I made a mistake. Let me tell you my error. I tried as much as possible to get every single water out. Yeah, you would see the extra step I took as if it was awara or tofu I was trying to make. But this is not awara, this is not tofu. So getting this water out this way, it would have just been okay, just fine. It doesn't have to be too dry, but I squeezed it out so much that it was a bit too dry. Yeah, so this is me just opening it up and seasoning it a bit. So you can put a little of salt and maybe pepper if you really want it to be spicy. Yeah, so you can put little salt and pepper. So I just put a little bit of salt, that was all. And after sprinkling salt, I still squeezed out so much water from it. It was not necessary. Leaving it a little bit wet would be nicer. The eating experience would be way nicer, but I was too extra. And then I put this set of heavy plates on it to still get out more water. This was not necessary. So if you squeeze out a good amount of water from yours, it's actually very fine. And you can just use whatever veggies. The same way you would make your egg sauce now is the same way you would make this sauce like moving forward. So I'm just chopping up some tomatoes. I'm going to chop up some bell peppers, some onions, a little bit of pepper, and this just the same way you would prepare for your egg sauce is the same way you would prepare for this sauce. The only thing is that your base now is soya beans or soya curd instead of eggs. Yeah, so these are my chopped peppers, and this is my block. This is my block after I had finished squeezing out every single water from it. So yeah, I'll open it up and you'll see that if it was for tofu, there's no need to scatter it. I'll just cut it up and fry it, but we're not using it for tofu. That's why I'm scattering it a bit. As you can see, it's very dry, like I've taken out water from it. So just proceed the same way you would and fry your onions, your tomatoes, your peppers, the same way you would. Season it as you would love to. I don't know how I didn't film that part, but I only showed you one seasoning cube. Just season it to taste, all your seasoning that you would want to put. Then now introduce the star of the show, which is your soya curd. Yeah, so this is it. It's a bit too dry, so I'm going to add a bit of water to it. Like I added very small water initially, and I realized I needed to add more. And yeah, this is it. It looks so good, and it tastes even better. If somebody tells you that this is not egg, you will not believe it. And look at the quantity. It looks decent for just 2 cups. This looks so good, so good. Yeah, you can see this. Yeah, another thing is you can always boil this inside stew. Like just take out a part of your stew and boil it. Yeah, so I'm going to be having mine with potatoes. You can have it with anything. Potatoes are very healthy options. You can have it with yam, with rice, with bread, the same way you would have your egg sauce, honestly. So I'm just seasoning my just put a little bit of salt, boil it, and voila, look at this. Look at how good this looks, guys. I promise you that this tastes better than it actually looks. And you can always take the base or the curd, the soya curd, and boil it inside your stew if you do not have time to start chopping up veggies, and it will taste just as good. Just take your stew base and cook the base inside. Guys, sorry, the struggle to get a good angle for pictures. Yeah, just look at this beauty. So I gave this to my baby cousin, sorry, not my cousin, my nephew, my baby nephew. And when everybody had finished eating, and he was crying that he wanted more, I'm like, where do you want me to get more of these from? That was just how good it tasted. And you can preserve it in the fridge also, the same way you would preserve your tofu block. That's the raw version. After you had just boiled your curd and gotten it out and squeezed it out of the cheesecloth, you can always preserve it in your fridge, or the same way you would preserve same way you would preserve your tofu block, and it can last you for up to a week. As you can see, I just used 2 cups, and these 2 cups, it's enough to feed a family of about 4 or 5 persons. Yeah, so please tag me in your pictures and in your videos if you're able to recreate this. Thank you, and I'll see you in my next one.